Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So this video is going to be another story time video about some of my dating horror stories from back in my dating days. If you haven't checked out the first video that I made on this topic, I did one, I'll put it in like the card or whatever thing, but it's probably like the funniest of my dating stories was the first one that I filmed. These ones aren't necessarily, like this one that I'm filming today is not necessarily funny, it's just like bad. Like it was just like a shitty situation, but it makes a good like story time or whatever. So I'll just get into today's story. So this was honestly, and a lot of these happened within the same year because there was like a year in college when I was single and like had just like a string of really bad dates and stuff like that. So so this one happened I think the same year as the last story. So I was recently just got out of a relationship. It was like a year and a half or so long relationship, and so I was just getting back on the dating scene, and that's kind of what I prefaced the last video with. But same kind of thing, because this was only months apart from the other one. And I met this guy. I met him online. A lot of these were guys I met online too, so maybe that tells you something about online dating. But yeah, I met this guy online. And so we went out on a date. I think we went to the movies or something like that for our first date, and it went really well. I actually really liked him. I was just, after the first date, I had that, I was really excited to see him again. I was really like, I really had a great time. It was really enjoyable. So I was hoping he would, call me back or whatever, and we'd go out again. And I guess he had a good time too, because he did call me back and we did go out again. So we had gone out like on a couple of dates, and like, so it got to the point where I knew him well enough that like I was like, okay, I'll add this guy on my like social media and stuff, because like we've gone out on a couple dates, like things are progressing, and like clearly I know the guy now, so it's like not weird for me to like add him on Facebook and stuff like that. So I added him on Facebook and a couple other social medias, like I think back then, this was years ago, back when like Tumblr was like popular and wasn't just like crazy people. And so I followed him on like Tumblr and like things like that. And so I remember very early on, like we were just going out on a regular basis. We hadn't had the conversation of like if we were dating like together yet, but we were just going out on regular dates and stuff like that. And I remember seeing this one girl that like showed up in a lot of his social media, like in a lot of his pictures, and like she commented on a lot of stuff. And so like I was like a little bit like jealous of her, and I was like, who is this girl or whatever. And I did a little like detective work on my own, and I had realized, like, I saw a really old picture and it was obvious that these two had dated previously, because there was like an old picture from like years ago where they were together, and like the caption, like I don't remember exactly what it was, but something about it was like obvious, like the caption said like with like Bay or something, whatever it was, like it made it obvious that they were together at one point like years ago. So but she was still like commenting and stuff on like recent posts of his. So I brought it up at one point with him, and I said like, hey, like, not to sound like that crazy girlfriend type, or we weren't even boyfriend and girlfriend yet, so I don't even think I said that. I said, like, I don't mean to sound, like, weird about this or anything, but, like, what's with the girl that, like, is always commenting on everything you ever post and stuff? And he was like, oh, yeah, that's, my ex-girlfriend, and, like, we dated a long time ago, but we broke up, like, 4 years ago or whatever, and we're still, like, kind of friends, but, yeah, I don't know. She just comments on my stuff a lot and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that's fine then. Like, because they're broken up. So I was like, well, whatever. And he didn't really engage too much back with her comments. So I was like, okay, she's obviously like probably just not over it, and like keeps on like trying to talk to him. He's not really responding. So I'm not really worried about it or feeling any type of way about it. So I was like, well, all right, cool, whatever, just wondering. And so things kept going, and we kept dating, and things were, getting better and better and whatever, and everything that normally happens at the beginning of a relationship. And it got to the point where I was like, look, like, I don't want to like see other people, like I want to be boyfriend and girlfriend, like I want to be like officially dating you, like can we take things to that point in this relationship? And he was like, yeah, like I feel the same way. Like I only want to spend time with you and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, cool. And he was like, yeah, I mean, but we don't have to label it. And I was like, not that I care about the labels, but it's like when somebody says that, you're just kind of like, well, wait, why? Like, what's the problem with that? And so that's kind of how I reacted. And I was like, well, why? And he was like, well, I don't know. Labels are like stupid or whatever. And I was like, are they though? Like, are we dating then or not? And he was like, well, like we are, but like we don't have to call each other like our boyfriend and girlfriend and stuff. And that was just like throwing major red flags up for me. I was like, what do you mean? Are we exclusive then? Or it was just very confusing, and he was dodging the question a lot. And he was like, yeah, okay, like if it makes you feel better, we can be like boyfriend and girlfriend. And I was like, okay, well, it would make me feel better. So yeah. And he was like, just let's not put it on Facebook though. Like that's really lame. And I was like, okay. So we just didn't put it like Facebook official, but like I had at least gotten him to acknowledge that we were together, like exclusively together, and he had acknowledged that in words out loud to me. So I felt like, okay, that's fine. Like if he just thinks it's lame to like put it on Facebook, but at the same time there were still like red flags going off in the back of my mind, and I was like, that was a weird discussion. Like that was a weird kind of dialogue we just had about this whole thing. So in the back of my mind I was still a little bit anxious about it. And then I saw, so a couple days or maybe a week after that, I was, still kind of creeping this girl on social media that had always commented on his stuff. And she posted something, I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was like song lyrics or like some kind of poem or something that basically said like, it was just some kind of passive aggressive shot at me. Like you could tell, like it was like pretty obviously about me. And she was saying like, oh, you'll never replace me, or like something weird like that or something. So I was like, okay, what is this bitch's problem, right? So I like sent her a message privately, and I was like, listen, like this may be presumptuous of me and I might be totally wrong, but I feel like your last post was like definitely about me, and I'm just like wondering what your issue is. Like, do you have a problem with me or what? And she responded going, yeah, I have a bit of a problem with you considering you're fucking my boyfriend. So I was like, whoa, like, what? Fucking your boyfriend? Like, what are you even saying? So obviously I just responded and was like, what are you saying? Like, I am not messing around with anyone's boyfriend. I don't know what you're talking about. And she was like, yeah, so and so, I'm not gonna say his name, right? But she was like, yeah, he's my boyfriend. We've been dating for 12 years. Excuse me? Like, yeah, so apparently that was true. Apparently he had told me they had broken up, right, or whatever, 4 years ago, and that's what I told her. I was like, he told me you guys broke up like 4 years ago, and she's like, no. So they had apparently been dating for 12 years at this point, and nobody told me. So, and somehow I guess she found out about me, and that's how that whole incident went down. So as if that's not bad enough, like I obviously broke up with him after that. I was like, well, you're lying to me, obviously, like, so this isn't working, bye. So I broke up with him, and then I found out a while later, I think it was a long time later, it was like maybe 2 years later or a year later, something like that, I found out from somebody else that was kind of like a mutual acquaintance of ours that that he had recently broken up with another girl, like a third girl. And I was like, well, what about that long-term girlfriend or whatever that he had? And this person was like, oh, I thought he was dating this other girl. So now there's this third girl on the scene, right? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if she was there like back a year or two ago when I was in the picture. And so I messaged her, and because I don't know why I had the balls to do this, or like why I even bothered, but I just like, I really, at that point, it's like when somebody betrays you and you just you already know they betrayed you once and you have this suspicion that it was like more than once. Like, I don't know if you guys feel that way sometimes too, but it's like if you find out somebody cheated on you and now all of a sudden you're thinking, well, wait, like, was it just that one time or was there more? So like, anyway, so I found out about this girl and I was just like, oh my God, was there another girl? So I messaged her and I was like, hey, you don't know me, but like, I heard from somebody recently that you and so were dating and you broke up and stuff. And this is just going to sound really weird, but like, I actually was dating him last year and I'm just wondering, and I found out that he had another secret girlfriend and not you, but like another secret girlfriend. And I was just wondering if the timeline, like, were you dating him at that time too? And she was like, yeah, I was. And also, who's this other girlfriend? So then I basically told her my whole story about that other girl. And I was like, yeah, did you also not know about that girl? And she was like, well, I knew about her, but he told me they were just friends and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I know, honey. Like, that's what he told me too. And it turns out they were not just friends. And then, to pile on top of this already crazy story, guess who just got engaged? Him and the 12-year girlfriend. They were like getting married. So I told this other girl this and we kind of like bonded over like how much we got effed over by this guy. And I was like, yeah, nope, they're not just friends and they're actually engaged. And she was like, what? Like, they're engaged? Like, I go from thinking that like I had a monogamous relationship with this guy to finding out he had not one but two secret girlfriends behind my back, and now he's getting married to one of them. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy one. And that was, again, all of that stuff happened like years ago. And they did end up getting married. So they are currently married, I believe. I don't stay in touch, obviously, with him, and I was never staying in touch with the girl. But I have seen, like, I'm a wedding photographer, so a lot of the other wedding photographers in my area, we all kind of like follow each other's pages and stuff. And so I actually did see another photographer in the area post pictures from their wedding. I guess she was the one that they hired to shoot their wedding, so I know they did end up getting married, which honestly I just feel really bad for that girl that he married, because like the fact that she would stay with somebody who went behind her back and had like all these other girls, like I don't even know if it was just those two and me. Like I don't even know if it was just us three. Like it could have been more. It could have been who knows how many. Like he could have just been like just I don't know. It was just very, very weird. But I definitely didn't miss much, because turns out like he was like still living with his mom and stuff, and he was like a 30-year-old man. So I'm like, you gonna get your own place? Or like like it was kind of pathetic. Like I don't even know why if it wasn't for the fact that I really like connected with him just in person, like we had good chemistry and stuff like that. Like if I had just like on paper looked at like his credentials as like boyfriend material or whatever you want to call it, like lived with his mom, like, you know, it would have been a no for sure. So yeah, so that's just goes to show like what certain personalities and charismatic people can do. They can like manipulate the shit out of people. So that's my second dating horror story for you guys. I'm definitely gonna post more in this like series, I guess, because like I said, I've got plenty of bad dating stories. Somehow I've just dated the worst people. So yeah, so hopefully you guys liked this video. If you liked it, then give it a like and subscribe to my channel. It's mostly makeup content. If this is the first video you're coming across, most of my videos are like makeup related. I only do the occasional storytime video just every couple of weeks or something. So if that's not what you're into, then maybe don't subscribe. But if you liked this video and you want to see the rest of my story times when they occasionally occur, then give me a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.